A local dentist has been overtaken on Google by another dental website as well as a few others, and that sucks when this happens. I've just finished giving my advice on what I would do if this was my business. I'd call it a startup brand. The history is that they bought an older clinic, I believe that they worked at for a number of years. They took over it, they've rebranded it, it's a brand new name, and they coasted on that new website that I constructed from the ground up. They got some initial results, and now they wanted to take something a bit more seriously in terms of marketing. They can see competitors are outranking them left, right, and center, constant SEO activity, constant Facebook ads, constant Google ads. So I've done a bit of an audit that I'm going to be sharing some data on. Now, the data that I'm going to be sharing is in a completely different area. So these are essentially completely different keywords, completely different competitors that I'm going to be looking at. And the first thing that I assessed was, the message was, we've just been overtaken on Google and we've lost out. We were doing quite well on rankings, we were doing quite well on local maps, and we want to start to chip away at doing some local SEO. But really what that means is we want to get leads through the door, some sort of a consistent flow of leads through the door, of people looking for our services, booking in, and obviously that brings us revenue and profit. In this case, they're leaning towards the local SEO side of things. In most cases, I insist on there to be some kind of budget given to a Facebook ad or a Google ad, just because there are so many factors that AI search and Google and Bing look for: traffic diversification and more engagement signals to the site, and there's no better way to do that, especially on a startup brand, than get some initial traffic from paid ads. Anyhow, the first thing I spoke to them about is, I said, before I share my screen and demonstrate what's on my screen, is how do we know, how are we tracking success? What is success? Do you have local trackers in place that let you know every hour or every week that you moved up or down? And at this stage, there isn't any. There's just gut feel of searching for it, seeing someone pop up above you and being like, oh shit, we've lost that position. That was never really theirs to begin with. Maybe I'll restart a little bit. The website has had no activity of SEO. There's no backlinks, there's no monthly sculpting. The only two really great things that the website had was, because I've built so many dental websites over the years and so many medical websites over the years, I built it with my SEO hat. So from the ground up, I made a URL structure and a permalink plan that was built for potential of SEO in the future. So I basically said, Mr. Client, what are the services that you offer? And for every single one of those services, we built a dedicated page. And on every one of these pages, it's dental bridges plus suburb, right? So the pages are optimized for the main suburb where they are located. From there, if there are not that many competitors gunning for that particular suburb, just on its own, it has a chance to pop up. And as someone that still builds hundreds of my own sites, I've got about 800 sites through the rank, this is what my bare bone sites look like. They're sites with all of the SEO pages. I just realized you guys can't see my screen because my big head is in the way. All of the SEO pages that I built, each of those SEO pages has the H1 dental bridges suburb, H2 a variation, H3 supporting paragraph text, FAQs and things like that. So when Google sees that cluster of nice pages, it gives me a sense of where will that site, if that site has potential to rank. Now, obviously the first thing I will do is I'll go ahead and deconstruct the competitors in those suburbs. If we're in dense areas of Sydney or Melbourne, this won't fly. Just the site on its own won't take off. So what basically happened in the last year, the business owner took the advice of getting reviews very seriously. They've got 60 high quality reviews to the new listing. I think they took over the old listing and we renamed it to have the old brand name and the new name. So anyone looking for the old clinic will find the new one. And also it was my advice to leave the old website still up and running, because the old website has still some SEO juice in it. It's holding real estate, it's still holding traffic. So my advice was, for the time being, for at least a year, leave the other brand up, communicate on that website that, hey, we have rebranded, still the same beautiful team. Here is our, I think, same location, it was renovated. Here is our new website. So we're diverting traffic to that new website. So a little bit of this SEO juice that's marinated in the last 10 years is being transferred to the new site slowly. Now, I would say that within the next year or so, we can do a page by page redirection, meaning whatever the 20 or 30 or 40 pages that were on this website, we will reconnect the plumbing to the new website and ensure that SEO juice is retained as much as possible. Because if you just do a whole, just the root URL and everything to the home page, you're going to have a lot of dead 404 pages when some of the service pages are not properly connected. And that just means the SEO will be mostly wiped, not completely. So I guess you could call it a website migration as such. I call it just a page by page precise redirection. It's almost like you're moving the house and you want to reconnect the plumbing so the SEO juice continues to flow through. So that's coming, and that will mean that all of these backlinks, most of them will remain plugged to the main site. Now, whoever's linking out to them will begin to see that there is a 301 redirection. A lot of the time, that's not an issue. Some people don't like that, so some of those links will drop. But that's the way that we're mitigating the loss and making sure we're extracting as much value from the old site as possible. Now, the new site on its own, without any kind of active off-page SEO, and there's only really two good backlinks. One is coming from the old site and the other one is from an online sort of platform, booking platform. But for an organic, for just a site alone to do this in the organics in this day and age, 2026, is really good. And this just tells me that the base SEO baked in, the on-page metrics and titles and permalink structure, and the way I wrote the content on each of the pages, instantly gained traction versus competitors. So you could say maybe it wasn't competitive, but there's traffic there. So there are some serious competitors there. What I believe happened, we've just hit that position of that's the highest that we're going to go with our asset, with our Google reviews, with our engagement, without Facebook ads, without Google ads, and without ongoing SEO. So my first advice is, let's set a foundation where, how do we track success? We can just check Google Search Console, make sure things are going up. We can check something like Ahrefs or SEMrush, make sure things are generally going up. What's really important is that we're tracking attributions and bookings and how many new clients are coming on and where are they finding us. And a lot of the time that sits with the medical booking platform or just asking them how they found you. But from an SEO perspective, it means setting up rank tracking tools that allow us to draw things like this, for example. So it's telling me that for whatever the desirable keyword that I chose, I think it was dentist, we're actually already ranked number one for at least 100 to 200 meter radius. This is just a simulation of local rankings. Over here, we are in position 1. Between the points is 200 meters, right? So you can see the moment we go 200 meters left and right, I think this is actually 500 meters, we begin to drop off. And that's normal. This is fine. So these are different keywords that I'm typing in that we are doing quite well on. So my first question is, how are you tracking this? We are definitely dominating number one for our main desirable keyword. And one of the things that I set up was a rank tracker that tells us where we rank locally on maps and organically. And this rank tracker simply refreshes every 24 hours, every 7 days, as often as I set it. And it will basically tell us, today we are here, yesterday we were there. There was definitely a strong competitor that came out of nowhere. They already existed. Here they are. The site went up in 2023, so they had about a 2-year head start on us, and they just jumped in March. When I had a look that the specific keywords that they jump for are quite good, right? I had a look at their sitemap very quickly, and I can see that their setup isn't that much better than ours. In fact, they have less service pages. Maybe they offer less, but they have more geo pages. We have none, and they have dedicated team pages about the dentist. Okay, so strong EEAT signals. Those pages are quite thin though, so nothing special. They have no blogs, and I couldn't really see any sort of powerful monthly backlinks hitting the site. So I'd say 6 to 12 months, we can cause some serious damage to this website. Sorry, not damage to this website, but we can pick up traction and overtake them, at least on their backlinks. There's a few other sites that I had a look at, but for the sake of this exercise, I'm going to look at a Bentley dentist. Now, this area has the same area has two variations. There's Bentley and Bentley East. Technically two different suburbs, but the way people search a lot of the time is they might not type in Bentley East or Bondi East, whatever that is. They might type in simply Bentley Dentist or Bentley Dental, but they're located in the East. Okay, and there's definitely some search on Bentley East, but it will be a lot less. So it's really important to try and pick up the root keyword as well, because there's obviously far more traffic. So there's, when you type in Bentley Dentist, there's 1.9 thousand searches per month, and there's 132 unique variations that people are searching for that particular key term. Not all of those key terms will be commercial intent, which is really important to understand the difference between keywords. You can get a very pretty graph that goes up, but the keywords might be, how do I extract my own tooth? Yeah. I'd argue that's probably still in the commercial space, because you could say, don't do it, come see us. But there might be like, what are the best toothbrushes, which is an informational key term. So once again, that could be commercial if someone's selling toothbrushes. But you get the gist. It could be something that does not lead to them wanting to book a dentist right now. Okay, so we did some keyword research and we understood the chunk of the pie. And we understood that we now need to track these keywords to make sure which direction we are heading in. It's really awesome to see that the business has embraced reviews and is hounding them as much as possible. My advice is always try gamify getting reviews internally between staff members and incentivize them, but also try incentivize business clients to leave you a review however way that's possible. Reduce the friction of getting reviews. QR codes, automated SMSs and follow-ups are a must. I think a QR code is an easy win. Having the link embedded in some email templates, if it's a bad case, you don't want to remind them that they can cause some damage and leave you a bad review. Other than that, another strategy is, where possible, get them to upload photos with their review. Might be a bit of a hard one in the dental space. You're not going to maybe do a before and after, or you might. And you could even pre-fill reviews for them. That plays a very serious role in ranking locally. However, it's all to do with the cost of entry and what the competitors are doing. In all of my experience of doing local SEO and showing up locally, 50% stems from the website. So saying where you are, improving where you are, talking about the local parks and local things and the local other businesses in shoulder niches. And the other thing is what you do on the Google business listing, your reviews, your optimizations, your category that you've selected. There's dentist and then there's dental clinic, right? There's a few others. But also it's to do with very much the cost of entry. If the 3 competitors or 5 competitors all have 300 reviews plus, man, you're just going to have to push for it and make it work. So that plays a pretty big role. So there was a question on hourly SEO rates, and my answer was, hey, look, you've got me as your internal CMO at no cost. I love what I do. I can always give you guys advice on what to do. The reason tiered SEO packages and hourly SEO rates most of the time don't work is because the terms are not made clear of what is SEO and what is the result. For example, when someone is asking for SEO, they want leads, they want more revenue. Yes, we want more rankings and we want to overtake competitors and get more traffic, but they're really after for more bookings in the clinic, and that brings more revenue and profit. Similar to when you engage a home builder to come and build your home, you want a place where you can sleep, double-storied, pool, jacuzzi, double brick and whatnot. So when you engage a builder per hourly basis and you say we will allocate you 15 hours a month to do the thing, the builder's going to rock up and start putting some bricks, laying some foundations, but there's only so much that he's going to be able to achieve. So the result will never be hit, because in the SEO game, there's always competitors that are working on a monthly routine of activities, of backlinks, of on-page, of blogs, of internal links, and a whole bunch of AI search optimizations, readability and crawlability, speed, responsiveness, making sure that the content is geo-relevant, it's skimmable, it's too long didn't read, all that kind of stuff. It all comes together. So in this case, the way I work is I go ahead and deconstruct the top competitors, and I have a look at their website pages, I have a look at their blogs, I have a look, most importantly, of their links that are not hidden, that we can actually see. In this case, I will pull up a site. This is, I don't know whose site this is. It's a site that has 357 backlinks. It's sitting at about just under 2,000 visitors a month. It's heading in the right direction. It's not being cited much by AI, and that just tells me that they haven't optimized their content, or they haven't spent much time on guide-like pieces of content that help educate the internet and prove to the internet that they're trustworthy on the topic and an authority. That's just what that tells me. But there are SEO links being built to the sites. There is some kind of SEO happening. But if I was to mimic and build out 357 unique domains that are mentioning us, that might be $100 a link, that might be $50 a link. Sure, there might be some free citations, free directory listicles, but there's a cost to acquiring this link and then overtaking. So links are like electrical cables under the house, and Google needs to see those to consider your website trustworthy. If there are other websites mentioning you, especially websites in the medical space, they will trust you more. Not all links are made equal. Directories, there's a whole bunch of spam out there. My take is you need to be the average. So if they have those spam links, I shouldn't say spam, spam's a negative word, but there's ugly links that are not spam that you just won't understand what it is. It might just be a directory website. It might be citations. It might be just a brand mention. It might be mentioned for social. All that, you got to just match that and be the average of that. So when Google compares you to the other 10, it's the average of the top 10. That's the key these days. And has always been to deconstruct the top 10 and match them on their on-page and the off-page. So if there's tiered packages, it just means how long would it take to get results. If something's cheaper, it means less backlinks could be constructed. It means potentially less guides and blogs. Blogs have never been harder to make than now. We've empowered ourselves with this crazy AI tool that we have Notebook LM for research, Claude for writing, personalized personas, tones of voice, jokes, all that kind of stuff makes the cost of entry so much harder, because everyone's pumping out this high level quality content. It's just hard to even get into the Google index to be considered. To create high quality blogs that actually see the light of Google and be cited by ChatGPT is very difficult. Not to mention they need to be juiced up by backlinks. So when someone gives you like 3 tiers of SEO, are those 3 tiers for your specific suburb, for your specific space, dentists in that suburb? Or is it just we give the pizza shop and we give the financial advisor the same tiered list? In other words, keep away from them unless that agency just does pizza shops or just does lawyers and they know that space and they have data on that thing. So in this case, I would also insist on running a Facebook and potentially a Google ad. There should be just a monthly budget given to marketing. There should be a monthly understanding of, okay, if we take on 10 potential customers or 20 potential customers, what is the overall lifetime revenue and profit that we will gain? From there, we can understand how much money we can throw at marketing. In there might be a budget for SEO, but in there might also be a budget for a very basic Facebook ad, $10, $20 a day, hitting the local suburb with some sort of a new patient offer, a video of the owner introducing himself. Hi, my name's James. And it might be an interview with some of the other dentists. You want to make yourself approachable. You want to make yourself, okay, I'll be safe in that chair, that they use gentle hands, and they might book. So very basic brand Facebook ad. Because what's going to happen is they might see that ad, they might not need it then, but they might remember you, and they will visit the website. Before they visit the website, they will open up Google or ChatGPT and search for dentist in Bentley or dentist in Bondi. When they click on your site, if they do remember your site, that just shows the AI search engines, Bing and Google, that this business is important. Someone's looking for this business. And they compare that A/B test to your competitors. So Facebook ad helps you rank on indirectly on Google or AI search, because it increases the amount of visitors that engage with your brand. Same with the Google ad. Google ads are very expensive in the dental space, as you would expect. Not to mention that with Google ads, it's best to take them out to a frictionless booking process. So a lead form then and there that then someone instantly calls. It's almost the equivalent of a call. Take them out to a typical medical booking platform, which makes them jump through hoops and it takes them 15 minutes to register. It's probably not a good way if you're desperate for leads and you're burning a lot of money with Google ads. It just depends where you are in the business. If the business is established and you value your admin time, then have the booking platform, just expect less leads. So more friction, less leads. On Facebook ads is the other way around. You want to create friction to weed out the crap that generally comes with Facebook. So my advice has always been actually the same. For the last 15 years, my campaigns are very omnipresent, meaning I show up in all of the places that matter, and we try and attribute success to everywhere. So we will rank locally, we will rank organically where there might be a specific contact form on those pages. We can see where the traffic came from. We might run a Facebook ad that attempts to take the lead details then and there from the form. But a better way to do that is take them out to a landing page. That's a Facebook landing page. So one of the things that I took some screenshots of is competitors' landing pages. And these are very typical. This was one of the ads that was running. You're heading on the left, 60 years of experience. Here's our beautiful team. Lots of years of experience. Here's our location. Here's our services. Here's our team, right? And that takes them through a booking automation, where the initial form is 4 fields, like name, email, your contact number, and then I believe it then triggers, I think it looks like a go high level automation. So I found a whole bunch of landing pages in this space. So running this might be costly. So be prepared for it to be $1,000 to $2,000 a month, and initially might be quite meaningless results. But then after a couple of months, you might get a firmer cost per lead, cost per acquisition. I generally run unique phone numbers as well. So we have call tracking as well. So you do all of the things and then you gravitate more to what sticks. You change the offer, you add the offer. If you're running a Facebook ad and you're intruding on their time, you better give them a reason to book now, because a lot of the time people sitting on the toilet don't need a dentist. So Facebook ad for dentist might be good for teeth whitening, where everyone needs teeth whitening. There might be a veneers or something major where you do an open day and let us do a free inspection kind of thing. Once again, that more falls into brand exposure. You will get leads. It just might not be as scalable as a Google ad, where you can see that every month there are X amount of searches that type in this high commercial intent key terms. That's where a Google ad would be my priority for a startup dental marketing. I still would put like 5%, 10% of the monthly ad budget into a Facebook ad, especially a retargeting ad. So someone that has come from Google Ads, someone that's come from organic SEO, gets a really basic retargeting ad on Instagram or Facebook. So instantly the response was, we don't want to run Google ads or Facebook ads. They don't work. Well, if you want the site to progress organically on SEO front, that is just another source of traffic that will speed up the general growth and recognition of the brand. That's important. So it's like a necessary evil. Not to mention, you might be able to get consistent and controllable leads. It might be $100 per lead, might be more. It really depends on what it is. And that's basically it. One of the things that I did is I opened up Facebook ad library, typed in dentists, in this case Melbourne, see the kind of ads that are being run. I always lean towards ads where it is the business owner in front of the camera or the team being interviewed on what their education, how they go about things. I also like to create ideal client personas, which basically it's the way I research problems, right? SEO behavior, the concerns, for example, goals and motivations, brighter, straighter, more confident, smart, minimal downtime, transparent pricing. So their goals, pains and challenges, overwhelmed from choices. They don't know if they should go teeth whitening versus veneers versus bonding. Fear of fake results, sensitivity, or buyer's remorse. So every kind of ideal client persona has all of these problems that I would then interview the business owner, the dentist, and then run those as Facebook ads, snippets of those as a local ad. So the brand is more approachable, that you can see the dentist that will be potentially working with you. Hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.